Most everybody, are we good to go?
Most everybody.
Okay, good afternoon everyone, and thanks for waiting for me. My name's Jim Ryan. I'm an ex-client of Nigel's. He put up with me for 5.5 months at GF Strong, and I was discharged January 13th of this year, so I've only been home for 2.5 months. And where do I want to start? So yeah, I'll go over where I am, my injury, and after listening to Nigel, I have lots more I should have added to my presentation. If you have questions or you want to talk about something, just ask me, okay? It's much easier because I know it's the end of the day and we all want to head home. And anyways, hopefully it'll be interesting. So just go to the next slide, please. I've got to go old school because I can't push buttons, so I have to keep saying next slide. So I was injured on March 30th of last year, and if you do the math, my 1-year anniversary is this Thursday. So I'm a pretty new injury. My wife Isabel is over there, and with her is Sophia Hugh from the Rick Hansen Foundation. I do work with Rick Hansen as an ambassador, so I do lots of talks around, and it's been very rewarding to do that. So anyways, March 30th of last year, Isabel and I were in Maui. All sounds grand. And we were in the water, just cooling off, not doing anything special, coming out of the water. And then in the ocean, you walk backwards, always looking at the waves, so you don't get hit. You shouldn't get hit. Anyways, we're right near the shore, and the last wave was coming in, and I said to Isabel, let's dive through this wave, and then we'll get out of the water. And that's fine, so we dove, and I slipped. And the wave caught me and drove my head in the sand. And whipped me over, and now I'm floating under the water. And I thought, well, I'm gonna have a really bad headache tonight. I'll just swim to the surface and we'll go. And I couldn't move. So I was instantly paralyzed. And what happened is, under the pressure when the wave hit me, a vertebral, is that how you say it?
Vertebral, yeah.
Vertebral artery split open for about a second, 2 seconds, 3 seconds. And a few drops of blood bled out, and then the artery sealed itself. Sadly, the blood went right into my spine, and I was instantly paralyzed. So I'm floating under the water, 6 inches under the water, trying to move, and all I can think of is, gee, this isn't good. Trying to find a way out. Can't move, and then the air starts coming out of my lungs, and the water starts going in, and I can feel it. I'm awake during this. And I'm under the water, can't move, and I'm drowning, and the only thing I thought about was, gee, it beats burning to death. So, under the water, waiting to go, and Isabel, at the last instant, grabbed me out, pulled my head out of the water, and screamed for help. And if she didn't yell, she screamed. And then I died. So I was essentially dead at that point. And this is in Maui, and don't listen to the current president of the United States, because America is great, Americans are great. And everybody on the beach rushed to help. They pulled me out of the water, they started CPR, they got the lifeguards came, 5 of them like no tomorrow, did more CPR, and they started to bring me back. And Isabel, they said to Isabel, we think he's coming back, say something. And being the romantic that she is, she says, this marriage isn't over, you owe me 30 more years. And the lifeguards go, really? But it worked, I came back. So they say only 4% of people who get CPR in a non-hospital environment survive. So already I'm an outlier, I came back. So they strapped me to the board, they had to drag me over rocks into the ambulance, almost an hour ride in the ambulance, got me to the hospital, and the first people that met the ambulance were the pastors, took Isabel away, because apparently I wasn't supposed to make it. So they do that, and then they ask you about your insurance to make sure you can pay for it. That's another story. Anyways, apparently I was touch and go and I wasn't supposed to come back. I never heard that, so of course I survived. And I spent 4 days in Maui, and then they flew me home air ambulance to Vancouver, which apparently almost killed me. I don't remember any of that. And then we got to the hospital in Vancouver, spent 4 days in isolation because you come from a foreign country, and also I'm full of seawater, so they wanted to make sure I was not bringing anything weird into the country. And then I made it to ICU. And when I got to ICU, I was considered a C4 complete. Now you guys know 30 vertebrae, and I lost 26 of them. And they told Isabel that I would probably never move, I wouldn't be able to breathe, and I'd have a be fed adult tablet most of my life. Well, I missed the memo and I didn't hear the conversation, so I kept going. So this is my latest trick. Nigel hasn't seen this. I'll see if I can do this for a person who can't move. Just a minute. Watch this. Look at that, eh? Right? And I can bring my foot back, and I can do the other one. So this is all new as of last week. All right, so for a C4 complete, so according to the ASIA scale, I don't know if you know what ASIA is, American Spine Institute Association, I'm a C4 complete. I test as a C4, but I can stand up. I'll show you my hand movement in a bit, and my legs are really quite strong. And I haven't stopped. I've been very lucky to have incredible therapists, both OTs and PTs, and I'll show you some of the pictures of them as we go along. So that's a brief, very brief story, synopsis of how I got to where I am today. And what I'll try to show you, including that first slide I had, I only have 3 slides with writing, so you don't have to take notes. It's all photos and some very short videos. This picture was taken earlier in the month, around March 10th, and that's at the rehab center in Abbotsford. And I use that because for someone who isn't supposed to move, I can sit on my own. I can sit almost straight up. And we had to place my hands a little bit because I don't have any arm control. But I look like just a normal person sitting there. So that's one of my favorite pictures, and I know I'm sort of bragging, but it's pretty cool for a guy like me to sit like that. So go ahead, next slide. That was me the night of the accident. I was fully intubated, I had feeding tubes, I had breathing tubes, I had everything, because I wasn't supposed to survive. And Isabel thought that would be the last photo of me alive, so she did break down and take it. And that's in Maui. That's how grim I actually looked. Okay, next slide. Now you saw me sitting in the first slide, and this is the first day I was at VGH. You can see I still have the vent in. I'm wearing the TED stockings. I had what's the band called there, Nigel, around my?
Abdominal binder.
A binder on, yeah. And I call myself a hairy 3-month-old. I needed pillows all around me to hold me up. I could not even really hold my head up at the time. So this is my first sitting picture. And then you saw the first picture, how far I've come in about 9 months. I actually lost the first 3 or 4 months of rehab because I couldn't breathe and I was so sick. I slept 18 to 20 hours a day. I was pretty wrecked. But I had incredible therapists who brought me home. The lady on the right there, her name's Andrea. She actually visited me yesterday. We've become very close friends. She's a physio and she really helped me the first 4 months survive. She spent more time pounded on my chest getting junk out of me than doing this. Anyways, that's just a very good picture to show you how far I've come. Go ahead, Nigel. Part of OT, and Nigel talked about this, is finding equipment. And so we went through, again, apparently I was an outlier. I was at GF for a week and I said, well, let's start looking for a wheelchair because I know I'm going to need one. and I want to get it before I leave so I can get modifications made before I leave. And that proved to be really a good idea. So the guy in the wheelchair, Anthony, he's a vendor, and he's a para, and he works for Advanced Mobility. So here we are testing wheelchairs. Now this wheelchair was the first one I tried, and it's a front wheel drive. You can see it only has 4 wheels, 2 big wheels on the front, 2 small in the back. And I tried that at the beginning, and I went with the 6th wheel, the center wheel drive. I don't know if you can see my chair. I have 2 big wheels in the middle, and then 2 small in the front, 2 small in the back. In that chair, I had a sip and puff. You guys talked about that, sipping and puffing. It was a pain in the ass. My French. It was really difficult to use. I know the old guys really like it because they grew up with it, and that's what they know. This chair has a head array, and this is what I settled on. And I tried 3 different head arrays. I tried 3 different wheelchairs, probably 5 seat cushions, 3 seat backs, and that was all OT. So Nigel and I would put different seat cushions on my chair and a seat map and look for pressure points, and we finally settled on this one, which is part Roho and part something else.
Foam in front.
Foam in front, there you go. Because it gives me the best stability. As well, a Roho I would have very difficult times transferring, so we can do single person transfers from my chair onto the plinth, onto the bed. And my new therapist, when I told them I could do that, they almost fell over, because as a C4 complete, I'm not supposed to be able to do that. Again, I missed that memo. So, this was a sip and puff front wheel drive, and now I have a head array. So I have 3 main switches. So left, right, and then back or forward. This switch right here is the mode control. And so I change the mode of my chair. As you can see, I can go up, down, I can tilt, I can recline my feet up and down. And I run my iPhone through my chair. You guys were talking about voice activated chairs. It would be wonderful, but it's quite limiting. I use Siri a tremendous amount. I don't know if you guys have tried it on your phone, but a person like me, you get really good at it. So Siri and I have quite an intimate relationship. And I'll have a picture later, but all my computer is all voice control. And the problem is outside noise really limits it. So voice control for a chair would be good, but it'd be difficult. And eye control, I'm not sure it would work because you keep moving your head. Anyways, my son's a computer scientist and he's working on it for me, so one more thing. So yeah, so this is something we did quite a bit of, and Nigel was really good. I gotta give full disclosure, my wife Isabel's a physiotherapist. So I had physios and OTs really working hard for me, and kept Nigel on his toes, always looking for new stuff. It's hard to show slides of things like my bed and stuff, but we tried different beds, and everybody said a Roho bed is good. It gave me bed sores like you wouldn't believe. So when you're talking about sores like that, I live that day after day. I don't have any feeling below my shoulders. I don't have any feeling. I can move, but I don't have any proprioception. That's my big word for the day. That's my big medical word. So if I don't see my legs move, I don't know they're moving, right? So people can tell me, but I really don't know. So a big part of my therapy, and I have a couple of videos, is showing, I have to see the movement to understand it. So we have a couple that shows that. Go ahead, Nigel. On the SkyTrain. So part of the training that Nigel did with us, and it was really fun. It was awfully scary at the time. The first thing we did was go across King Edward Boulevard in my chair. I hate to tell you, I was scared to death. And we had a light, a walk light, don't walk. And we got halfway across on the first walk light, we stopped. And then there was an island, and then we did the second half. And I thought I was gonna die because I was so stressed. And we got to the far side of the road, and what did we do? We couldn't even go to the little shop. We turned around and went back. And then and that was all I could do. So this is going on the SkyTrain, right? And I was in a sip and puff chair on the SkyTrain, 700 meters from GF Strong to the station. I had to sip and puff my way there and my way back. I was exhausted. And we got on the SkyTrain and we hit up and down the elevators, and some are easy and some are not that easy. But the SkyTrain is really well set up. I don't know if you've ever noticed it, the black trails that get you right to the doors. So that worked really well. And then of course I got stuck in the doors at one point. It's slowed down the trains, but everybody was really good. And I've got a lot of good stories about how good people are. And we don't really have time. I know you guys want to be out by 4. But I've had really, really good experiences with people, young and old. They've really, really treated me well and really helped me a lot. So I just wanted to put that out there. So yeah, part of OT is doing stuff like the SkyTrain and crossing the street. And hit the next slide, Nige. That's our wheelchair van, and again, Nigel helped us. We phoned a bunch of vendors who sold vans, and we found, we're from Chilliwack, and one of the vendors is Sidewinder, which is actually in Chilliwack, which worked out well. And we bought this huge Dodge Caravan. It had already been modified. So I go in through the side there, that's the ramp, and then I sit beside Isabella where the passenger seat would be. And I have what's called an Insta-lock, and it's like a 5th wheel lock, so I have a pin underneath my chair, and I just roll in and I click in. Isabel puts my seatbelt on and we're on our way. So it works really well. And if you want to have freedom, I mean, this is the most expensive vehicle. Well, I'll tell you about, that's one of the most expensive vehicles. Someone was asking about chairs and prices and stuff. This is the most expensive vehicle we've ever bought. And part of being an OT is writing really good letters to the insurance companies to justify all the extras. So this chair costs $45,000 and there's no tax on it. So if I had to pay the GST and HST, it would be in excess of $50,000. So by far the most expensive thing we've ever bought. And Nigel wrote these really good letters to our insurance companies, and somehow he got the insurance companies to cover it. So that doesn't happen all the time, but as an OT, that's part of your job, and Nigel did a really good job for us. So I just put that out there. Vans aren't covered at all, but it's totally worthwhile for your clients. Go ahead. So part of being an OT is learning how to use things like a mouse stick, which I use quite often. I have it attached to my desk at home. A friend of mine built me this really cool desk for my computer and stuff. And that's me in the hospital at GF using my mouse stick for something on my iPad. So I have this really good mount, and I have my earphones on for some reason. I guess it was noisy that day. But that's how I would navigate. And I use a lot of voice control, and like I said, my head array will lock into my iPhone, so I can tick my way through, and it beeps the whole time. It works really well. It's slow, but I can actually do quite a bit. I do a lot of emails and stuff, and I'm getting quite good at it. So yeah, that was part of assistive tech, and I'll talk a bit more about that in a moment. Go ahead there, Nige. That's the chair I bought. As you can see, it's a center wheel, so 2 in the front, 2 in the back, and the main drive wheels. And again, I use a head array. And that's given me the most freedom. And it has lights and stuff, so at night I'll turn on my headlights so people don't walk into me, because they don't see you at night. It's real. 90% of the world is good, 95%, and they're really friendly, and the other people are on their cell phones and don't see you. And so they walk into me all the time. And then it's my fault. Anyways, that's beside the point. Go ahead, Nige. Okay, this is a little video. So this is at the beginning when I was trying to move my hands, and part of being an OT is doing hands and arms. So this is Nigel working with me at GF Strong right at the very beginning. And if you click in the bottom left. There we go. I don't know if there's volume at all.
It is on, it's just quiet.
So we're just stretching out my fingers, trying to get some, and you can see in my face how hard I'm trying to work here.
Everybody noticed Nigel's smile.
Yeah.
So what we're actually looking at there is we're looking at activating Jim's intrinsic muscles in his hands. So we're doing a little bit of neurofacilitation to hopefully increase his mobility.
Yeah. So that's right after I got the GF, and that's how much I could move my fingers. So it's frustrating. I can't push a button. I can't run a mouse, and that's the really frustrating part. Anyways, just to give you an idea where I was. This is really cool. That's Claudia, who is one of the rehab assistants. And this is hot waxing my hands. I don't know if you guys have learned about that. So it's going for my cosmetic, but she was really good. Apparently it feels really good. Like I said, I don't have any feeling, but it really loosens my joints and muscles, gives me an opportunity to move my hands. So we do that twice a week. And it was really good. She was really good. So it's a couple of things. Part of what we did with Nigel was we went to the bus depot, and the transportation guys will put 2 buses out, and you can practice getting off and on. It's pretty intimidating for a guy like me, because I run with my head, and you have to back in and turn around. And anyways, so then a friend and I, we decided we'd go to the mall for Christmas shopping. So we went on the bus, and here I am coming off. You can see I have a leg bag on. So I have a bag that just goes over my legs, a little bit like a child again, 3-month-old. And it keeps my legs warm. I don't have any feeling, so I don't know if I get cold or not. And once my body gets cold, it takes me a real long time to warm up, because my mind has to understand that I'm warm. So that came in handy. And taking the bus, I gotta tell you, the people and the drivers were incredible. As soon as they saw me, they pulled up, made sure I had good access to the ramp, moved people on and off the bus, got me into my position, made sure I was comfortable, and the drivers were really, really helpful. So very, very fortunate. And doing the training beforehand really helped. So again, then Nigel arranged that through the transportation there. So that was really good. That's my good friend Walt Lawrence, and Walt, he's the client, what do they call him?
Peer counselor.
Peer counselor at GF Strong. He was injured at age 16, and that was 49 years ago. So he's been a quad like me, doesn't move a muscle for 49 years. So you try to imagine what the care and the rehab was 49 years ago. Anyways, I'm teaching Walt how to use voice-activated software. So I use Dragon Naturally Speaking on my computer, which is a huge learning curve. It's a huge program, very, very good, but really hard to learn. That big white ball you see in front of me is my microphone. It's an omnidirectional, so I can sort of sit anywhere and talk to it. And I was showing Walt how my program worked. And it's really, once you get it, I actually took a couple of lessons, which were really helpful. Once you get it, it's really, really good. So we're sitting together with my computer working through it. And Walt's a really cool guy. He uses a sip and puff, and I use a header rate. And that's just the way we go. Okay, here's another video. This is my OT in Abbotsford. I'm part of the Ready program in Abbotsford, and this is trying to work my hands. And this is a couple of weeks ago. So a couple of things, you can see me lifting my head so I can see what's happening because I don't have any feeling. And that doesn't look like much, but I'm lifting against gravity. And I hate to say it, but gravity's a bitch. It's really difficult because, you know, lifting my legs like that against gravity is really, really difficult. I have the strength to move them, but to carry the weight against gravity is really difficult. So doing that hand movement like they're going, that's the first time we've seen that. So for me, that's huge progress. I know to you it doesn't look like a lot, but I come home after one of those therapy sessions and I have to have a nap because I've used everything I've got. You know, Nigel, and I'll show you a picture in a minute, would work together. Nigel was saying to do spinal cord rehab is very intimate, so you're very close to one another, grabbing me and moving me around. And Nigel and my physio, Nafisa, would work together as a team a lot. And Nigel would say, well, if we do 1 hour together with you, you only get 1 hour instead of 2. And I said, well, this is synergy at its best, where 1 + 1 = 3, right? Because I would get so much more from that 1 hour with the two of them than I get from 2 1 hours separate. So they would work me really hard, and I would go upstairs and go right to sleep because I would have used up all my energy. Just put that out there. Okay, this is just a fun video. This is Christmas Day of this year, and just to show you what we've come to. Oh, it's still loading there, trying to. Come on. Seriously? Anyways, dang. This is in Chilliwack, and we had that freezing Christmas Day. And the roads were all ice, so I was dragging Isabel around, my wife, like she's skiing behind me. Oh, it's not gonna work.
Our computers are not working.
It might be. Just go to a presentation at the very top there. No, it's showing up the, oh, that's okay, we only have a couple more things to show. Yeah, just go back there. So here's my 2 slides with words on them. I don't want to bore you guys with lots of words. Like I said, I do a lot of work with the Rick Hansen Foundation. So I've met Rick a few times, and he's one of those really cool people. It's just like you see on TV. He makes you feel like you're the most important person in the world. Very, very personable. We've had some really good conversations. We've talked on the phone a few times. He really wants to make a difference. And for the 150th anniversary of Canada, he's doing what he calls Access for All, and that's trying to break down barriers for people like me. I hate to call myself handicapped because I don't think I am. If you look at trying to get a handicap spot at any mall or anything, they're all taken. So either all of us are handicapped or a lot of us are cheating. But people wear glasses and hearing aids or use a cane or a walker. And my handicap is just a bit more visual than everybody else's. Strangely, my mind still works even after dying and drowning, and drives Isabel nuts sometimes, but I still keep going, so I think I'm different, but I really don't think I'm handicapped. Anyways, part of what Rick's doing is breaking down barriers. So I do presentations for him, and I do one again this Wednesday. And they've really been a lot of fun, and it's really been interesting to see how people react to them, so it's been really good. And my next slide. So that's just a bit about me, and I actually have, that didn't change at the bottom. I have a Facebook page called Jim Ryan's Recovery. When I got injured, Isabel was getting lots of phone calls about what was happening, and our oldest son is in the Air Force, And when I got injured, they wouldn't let him fly anymore, so he said, let me go to Hawaii and help my mom. So they wrote him a leave pass there, and I work for WestJet. I'm a pilot at WestJet. And WestJet has been incredible, even a year later, helping me. And they said to Isabel when I was injured, who do you want to come and help? And she said, I don't know. And then our son Daniel said, I have time off. She phoned WestJet and they had him on a flight to Hawaii that night. You know, they just put him on, no questions asked. So anyways, he was in Hawaii. He set up a little Facebook page, and just for family and friends, it figured like 30 people would watch it. This is our regular friends. We have almost 2,700 people following our Facebook page. So I have little business cards if you're interested in keeping track. But anyways, it's been really inspiring for people. And it's been very interesting because I met a lot of other people like me, and we talk about our situation because it is quite unique. And then my last slide, and these are the two most important people that I've had in my recovery. That's Nigel, obviously, on the left, and that's Nafisa, who was my physio, on the right. And that was our last session at GF, and the reason Nigel's hair is all messed up, I had to bring that up, I'm sorry, was that we were doing a whole bunch of standing, because I figured it would be my last chance to stand for a while, and it was for about a month. And then I got to the Ready program in Abbotsford, and I told my new therapist, yeah, I can stand and everything. And then at about the third session, I use a lift, so you guys have probably seen it from the ceiling where you put the sling under me, lift me from the chair to the bed, back and forth. And she wanted to use the lift to put me on the plinth, and I said, no, we'll just do a transfer, and she just about fell over. Didn't think I could do it, so no, we transferred over. And she goes, well, that was easy peasy. And I said, yeah, I have to do a lot of training. I had good trainers at the beginning, so I trained. And we got that, and then we were just doing some leg exercises, and I had my legs straight, so then I just stood up, and she just about died. What are you doing? Well, I'm just standing up, you know. And I meant to put that other picture in, and I forgot, but I have a picture from a few weeks ago where I'm standing up and we're all laughing because none of us are working hard. So, which means my legs are strong enough to hold me comfortably. And the funny part, the sad part, is I don't have any balance, so I can't go back, forward, left, right. So what we use is mirrors, you know, one in the front, sometimes one in the side, so I can see what my posture is like, which way I'm leaning to bring myself up. I'm actually quite strong in the core, so I can push myself left, right, back and forth. But if I don't see myself, I have no idea where I am in space. So we've had a lot of fun doing that. And my goal in the next 6 months to a year is to try to take a step. So that's why we've been doing stuff like this. If I can get my foot unhooked, I don't want to do it that one well, is to practice lifting my feet up so I can take a step. So if I can do one step on my own, I mean, you know, one step for man, a giant leap for mankind, whatever that is. But that's sort of my goal. So we got 7 minutes left. I'm sorry I didn't leave much time for questions.
Can I just make a correction on
Yeah.
your,
Oh yeah, it's
we
my.
have the Facebook page
Yeah.
that was really meant that started for family, and so it's like little quick blurbs of where we are. It's a daily and it's quick. But we just started a blog, and it's not my paraplegic, it's my quadriplegic.life.
Yeah, I forgot I was in a quad, not a
Yeah,
paraplegic.
it's basically longer stories, so you'll learn about the family, but the stories come from the different people in our family. We have 4 kids, and we said we'd have concessional stories from the various girlfriends, boyfriends, you know, but they're longer stories, a little bit more detail, and it's just been started, and it shows, you know, it talks about the rehab and helps with some of the, you know, we're allowed to say anything we want. Now you can ask questions, but it's not my
anyways, thank you very much for listening to me. I was trying to leave time for questions, and if you wanted to see some transfers or try to do some spinal rehab, we could have done some of that, but we're a little bit out of time. If there's questions, feel free, and if you need to go, we'll see you next time. Thank you very much.
Question?
Sorry, go ahead, I got a turn here. Yeah?
Can you just explain a little bit more about how the head piece would work?
Yeah, I'll just come to the front here a bit more. So I literally drive this all with my head. There's three main switches. There's the one in the back to go forward, and then there's one on the left and one on the right. And it's hard to see, but I have this console in front of me, and that tells me what mode I'm in. So if I hit this button, now I'm in reverse.
So how did you hit that button?
This little button, there's that one, is a blue button on this side?
Yeah.
This button right here,
Oh, okay.
right? And then I can change modes, so I'll just go like this. And now I'm in my tilt back, relax mode. So as they talk about, I don't have any feeling in my butt. If I was sitting on the pen, I would never notice, and I would get terrible sores, right? And part of being a quad, I have to change my position. You guys do it automatically. I tilt my seat. I can recline my seat. I don't do that as much. That's for getting in and out of the van. I can raise my seat, as you can see, my feet go up and down. And this is all just to change my blood pressure, change my seating position, so I don't get sores. And then I have a mode to run my iPhone, a mode to run my TV remote, which is surprising. That's what this straw is for my TV remote. So it's like a sip and puff. I can control some lights in my house, my TV. I'll put an automatic door opener coming in a month or so, and I'll do that all through my straw. Does that make sense? Yeah. Yeah.
Did you say you were gonna show some hand?
Yeah. You have to come on, lift my hand up. Come over. Lift my right hand, it's better. Come over here, yeah. You can do it. I'm biting, I don't. Just lift my hand up. This is what I can do. Yeah, so Nigel and I worked quite a long time. Nigel, my so our goal is to hold the bill or a with my finger. So we've been working a lot of this and I'm trying to clench. So just lift my other hand up. In this hand, just on my wrist more than my pinky and my ring finger have been really strong. Right? But I can't clench, and that thumb's working pretty good. This is all fairly new. Put up a bit left. So that thumb's working pretty well there. So this is all new in the last few months. So Nigel hasn't seen a lot of this. This is pretty good. So if I can make a fist, that gives me strength going down, and I can push a button. I can lift up with my bolster push. Well, we've tried micro switches and stuff, but I just don't have enough control. I might do it with my
Can you have a switch that?
We've talked about that, but we haven't found one yet. I have one son's a computer engineer and another's a computer scientist, so we're gonna start working on that this fall.
Set up.
I'm trying. Yeah, I try to see, no, don't tuck it under, 'cause part of being a quad is all your joints start closing in on themselves. So this is been very fortunate, both OTs and PTs have been incredible. And again, I do a lot of training as I go along and learn from the best here. And I advocate for my own care, right? And everybody, that if I work hard, they work hard, and vice versa. So I've been very, very fortunate. Like I said, I go home and have a nap after most sessions. I work so hard.
Yeah, so basically what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to simulate the activities. So if you're looking at Jim's hand, what are the moving parts? Whoops. Okay, so
See now, you turn and see, I got all that stuff.
so what are the limiting factors right now? Spasticity, definitely. What about range of motion? So we had more range. So those are all things that we would need to address in order to get more functionality.
So this is a big thing we work on, you know. See, my thumbs have started to fold. And after a year of not really moving, my muscles get exhausted. We work a lot on my biceps and my forearms. On my right side, I have a bit of feeling in my arm and really nothing on my left. Yeah. On my forearm and my bicep. I can feel you touch me, but I can't tell if you touch me with one finger or four fingers. This is something we're working on. Again, another thing I have is phantom limbs, so I'm actually an octopus, 4 arms, 4 legs. And the fingers I'm trying to move around my hand and my lap. I have a phantom hand in my lap right now, on both sides, and I'm trying to move those fingers, even though I'm looking at these fingers. Sometimes they join up and have their arms. So I actually have 4 of them. Since the very beginning, I remember in Maui lying there, you know, my hands are on my lap and it's on my stomach, but they're on my stomach. So a lot of things would happen with my arms, especially is my phantom arm fall asleep. And they'll be in the hands like this, so I'll get someone to put my real arms in my lap, and that will help them wake up and go back and join the real arm. That sounds weird, it is. Go ahead. Go ahead. Show you what I've done. And we've been working a lot on my biceps, trying to get some upper arm movement. And my therapist feels that I'm really making progress. And the problem for me is I have no feedback. I don't feel anything. So she's really happy. I have to trust her, right?
So these are still financial travel positions. How would it be if these grabbing
Yeah.
support? What is
Yeah, turn it over and draw. Yeah. Oh, sorry. Yeah, no, the other way. Oop. Yeah. So yeah, I spend a lot of time fighting gravity. I guess it's my see how they curl under because they don't get used. It's real dry. Try my other hand here. So we tried pressure gloves at night and I had terrible bruising on my knuckles. So we took them off. I can't risk bruising because it takes me forever. So I have a couple of pressure sores left over from my roll mattress. And then I was in ER one night for a squat catheter. I got a huge
throughout the day, or?
Yeah, so, I had my ring resized for Christmas, I went from a size 9 to a size 13. And some days it slides right off my fingers, so it changes all the time.
Now when your hands are positioned here again, what repetition do you do?
Well, I try to get my thumb out, but over time I'll just roll back in and nicely.
Like out and on
Yeah, so
the
just
side?
try to lay my hand a bit more flat. I have a lot of spasms, I have terrible spasms.
Have you tried any medication for the spasms?
Yeah, I'm on baclofen and gabapentin.
Okay.
Gabapentin, whatever you say that. It helps, but I still have lots of issues. So putting my coat off and on is a little bit of a travail, but once we break through the spasms, we put it on and carry on. I'm really looking forward to summer.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't have a picture, but we have a full bag. I call it a bag, but it's like a cape, and it goes over me and my wheelchair. Has a hood for my head and a zipper in the back for my head array, and I just pull it right over, and it's just like a kid again. So they just wrap me up and away we go. And that's really good, because then we can go out in the rain and stuff, and get out, get some air. Otherwise, I'm stuck in the house. And we had so much snow in Chilliwack, I didn't go outside for a week. And the walls start closing. Oh yeah, there's some buttons that are from the Rick Hansen Foundation.
I'm wondering, and you don't have to answer this, but I'm curious, like, you have like a good outlook and a good sense of humor. I'm wondering if you could talk a little bit about sort of
Yeah, so it's interesting. Everybody, when I got injured, I realized there was no turning back, so I had to keep moving forward. So I just said, well, this is my life, and let's keep living, right? And try to find solutions to what I've got. And apparently, there's the other choice of not living. And I use the, I hate to say it's Shawshank Redemption, everyone's seen it, right? And Red says to Tim Robbins' character, whose name I can't remember, Morgan Freeman was Red. He says, when you get to a place like this, people get on with living or get on with dying. And I just want to get on with living, so I just keep moving forward. Part of it, I think, is my training too. As a pilot, when you have an issue, you can't pull over and stop and work on it. You got to keep going through life, right? So when I'm under the water and I can't move, I got to keep working the problem. And keep, now I'm drowning. I'm going, well, now what do I do? Right? And when I came out at the other end, when I'm alive in the hospital, we got to keep working the problem and find the solution. So I refuse to give up. I don't know any other way to live. And again, I've been really fortunate to have therapists like Nigel and Nafisa. They say a lot of it's because I work hard, they work hard. So it's a bit of a quid pro quo. So, I look forward to my sessions, even though I'd be exhausted at the end, because it gave me a chance to make progress and move forward. So I can't give up living. Not ready to. Maybe one day we'll have to. So I try to stay positive and laugh at my situation, as screwed up as it is. And, if there's a way, I should talk more about the failures, because man, there's been some just scary, terrible failures.
Yeah.
And we just keep going, And I'm very lucky. Isabel loves me and puts up with me. And I bring home my own therapist, so that really helps. And I've had really good therapists. And I have huge support from family and friends. Like Isabel just got back from Hawaii this morning, so didn't want her to drive. So my friend Doug, he's down in the cafeteria, drove us, and will drive us back, right, just on his day off. So I've been extremely fortunate to have huge support. And we could talk about that, because there's a lot of people without any support, and they have really tough lives. So financially we do okay. We're not rich, but we're okay because of our jobs, and we've had huge fundraising from friends and stuff. So again, you get on with living or you get on with dying, and I can't change what is, so I might as well just carry on and make the best of it. Hopefully that answers your question. It's an attitude. I've always had this attitude, so life's a bitch and you die. It is. Don't kid yourself. It is. You work hard and you get your reward in heaven or wherever you believe. Hopefully that answers. If you want to move my hands or anything, feel free. I mean, I don't feel anything.
And I wondered, you talked about your next kind of goal being standing.
Yeah, I can
More
stand.
of, maybe, or taking a step, pardon me,
Yeah.
standing kind of a step.
Yeah.
Do you have kind of like a travel or activity goal?
Oh yeah, we do lots of traveling and process. Two of our kids graduate this spring, one from aeronautical engineering in the military in Ontario, and our daughter from law school in Toronto. We have to go out East Place. And then I want to go to my reunion from the university. I went to military college 35 years, and the guys raised tons of money for me. 35 years later, these guys reached through time and space and raised a whole bunch of money for me. That's awesome.
Where is that?
In Kingston, Ontario. And then we're going to Hawaii for Christmas, and we're just planning our next Hawaii trip. So yeah, so no, I refuse. It's really expensive, you know, you go to somewhere and you rent a car for $30 a day. I have to rent a wheelchair van for $140. So that really sucks. I have to bring an attendant, so I have to get them a hotel room and all that. Anyways, life goes on. Well, can't take them with you, and I told my kids their inheritance is now gone. You could put me at the side of the road and knock me off and have the money. They haven't got to that point. This, my pinky's always been the strongest. Right? Until I'm getting tired.
Do you wear any sort of slips?
No, we talked about that, but I had huge, my knuckles are really bruised really bad, so we just stopped doing that. We tried several things, and it just wasn't working. And then my legs have always been strong. Like I said, this is all new this week.
This week?
Well, last week, like, that hurt, just a hook my shoulder. I might have never been actually, this is all new. Last week.
Still fresh meat, hey? In a year, still fresh meat though.
Yeah, so that just gives you an idea of my life.
Thanks for.
Well, yeah, if you guys do something like spinal cord, it's full on rehab. It's very intimate. You spend a lot of time. You know, I spend more time with my head on Nigel's shoulder or under his arm than I care with it.
What other OT advice do you have? Giving us so much.
You know, and Isabel's a physio too. There's tons of different therapies you can do. If you want to do full on rehab, you do something like this. Or Isabel did a lot of amputees for years, and it's full on. You're very intimate. You get to know your clients. You spend a lot of time working one on one. If you want to do, you know, if you're put on this electrode on, you know, see it 20 minutes, that's fine too. But if you want to do full on, you want to learn about equipment, wheelchairs, beds, you know, seating, assistive technology. Assistive tech is going to be huge in the next 10 to 20 years. You know, even since I started, it keeps changing. I work with the Neil Squire Society, and they're building a mouse you control with your mouth, and you sip and puff, or left click, right click. So stuff like that is huge. So if you want a real challenge and do real rehab, you do what Nigel's doing. And if you don't, that's fine too.